You are exhausted. I know that feeling deeply. No matter how much you try to anchor yourself in positive thinking, no matter how many daily mantras you repeat or how many high-energy motivational videos you consume, those dark, nagging, negative thoughts always find a way back. They come at night, in that heavy silence when the world stops moving. They strike in the middle of a busy workday without a second of warning. And every time they surface, you launch an all-out mental war, trying to banish them like unwelcome invaders. But here's what nobody has told you, and what the billion-dollar toxic positivity industry will never admit. This internal warfare is exactly what is fueling your suffering. You have been systematically trained to believe that your negative thoughts are flaws, that having doubts, fears, insecurities, or anger is a sign of a weak character or a wrong mindset that needs immediate fixing. You try to drown them out with empty affirmations. You try to numb them with instant pleasures and digital distractions. You pretend everything is fine while a vital part of your soul is screaming to be heard. And that part won't go away just because you told it to shut up. Carl Jung, the legendary explorer of the human psyche, understood something that few people today have the courage to acknowledge. He realized that the more you fight against a psychic content, the more raw energy you feed it. The mind operates through a law of compensation. Everything you repress does not simply vanish into thin air. It shifts into the vast territory of the unconscious and gathers strength. Your mind is not broken. It is trying to capture your attention. When that voice inside whispers, "Quote 1," that isn't a glitch in your mental software. It is a symbolic expression of an old, unhealed wound, perhaps from a childhood where your worth was never truly recognized, or from years of living a life that betrays your authentic self. When the thought arises that nothing makes sense, it might not be a chemical imbalance. It might be your soul screaming that you have wandered too far from your deepest values. Fighting what you feel is the perfect recipe for staying stuck in it forever. Negative thinking is not the enemy. It is the messenger. If you learn to listen, to understand, and to integrate those parts of yourself you've been trying to annihilate, the entire game changes. You stop being a slave to your thoughts and start becoming their ally. This isn't another superficial Quote 3 lecture. This is an invitation to face the shadows you've been running from for years. It is about ending the escape and starting the dialogue. It is about moving from being a victim of repression to becoming a master of integration. As Jung famously said, you only become whole when you can hold both your light and your shadow at once, without rejecting either side of the human experience. Take a deep breath and stay with me. This is not self-help, this is deep psychology. If you are ready to stop running from your own mind, keep listening. What you are about to learn has the power to radically change the way you deal with your thoughts, your emotions, and your entire life. Stop for a second and be honest. The more you try not to think about a specific problem, the more it dominates your headspace. The harder you strive to quote 4, the heavier the internal burden feels. This isn't bad luck. You aren't, quote, 5 at being strong. You are simply violating a fundamental law of the psyche. All one-sidedness is compensated. The human mind isn't a battlefield where the one who represses the most wins. It is a living, breathing system seeking equilibrium. Jung observed that whenever our conscious mind insists on identifying only with one side, with strength, control, positivity, and success, the unconscious mind reacts. It brings up everything we've excluded, the fear, the sadness, the sense of emptiness. This isn't sabotage, it's a correction. The tragedy begins when we interpret this correction as a threat. We enter a war against ourselves, and that war carries a staggering energetic cost. Repressed content doesn't stay quiet. It becomes, quote, 6. Forced positivity creates a dangerous illusion of control, while the pressure builds at the bottom of your psyche. You keep up appearances, but inside, something is rotting. That trapped energy eventually transforms into symptoms: unexplainable anxiety, constant irritability, or sudden collapses that seem to come from nowhere. Jung compared this to a dam. It looks stable until the water rises too high. When it breaks, the reversal is violent. He called this, quote, 7, the inevitable flip into the opposite. The person who tries to be, quote, 8, for years eventually falls into a deep, dark depression. The one who controls everything rigidly is eventually overtaken by total internal chaos. The psyche doesn't do this to punish you. It does it to save you, It is a desperate attempt to restore a balance you've been refusing to accept. Those negative thoughts are signs that something essential has been ignored for too long. Repression is an expensive habit. It consumes the very energy you need for joy and creativity. But there is a better way, the path of listening. You must abandon the idea that your dark thoughts are errors. Start seeing them as symbolic messages, carrying vital data about your wounds and your potential. Why are they here? What do they want? If this resonates with you, it means you're ready to stop tearing up the letters your unconscious is sending you and finally start reading them. Recurring negative thoughts are not glitches. They are the soul's way of communicating when it has tried every other way and failed. They are attempts to restore the psychic balance you lost along the way. Take the classic quote, 9 thought. Modern quote, 10. Tell you to fight it with quote, 11. But that solves nothing because the thought is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath it lies a sea of unprocessed emotions. Maybe it's an echo of a demanding parent. Maybe it's a sign that you're living someone else's dream. Denying this is denying a part of yourself. Negative thoughts don't want to destroy you. They want to wake you up. If you feel like you're always in danger, maybe your mind is highlighting that you've never actually felt safe. If life feels empty, maybe your soul is saying you're following the wrong script. The question is no longer, how do I kill this thought? But what is this thought trying to teach me? To begin this journey, you need to learn how to create distance. You are not your thoughts. You have been believing every lie your mind tells you. I'm a failure. No one loves me. Everything will go wrong. You take these as absolute truths. But true freedom starts when you realize there is a you that is separate from the noise. Jung taught that the psyche is a collection of voices, archetypes, complexes, and fragments. You suffer because you identify with the loudest, darkest voice in the room. But you aren't the voice. You're the one listening to it. Imagine you're in a room with a television. A movie about failure is playing on the screen. Most people have their faces pressed against the glass, believing they are the movie. But you are the observer sitting in the chair. The moment you remember this, you regain control. Practice distancing language. Instead of, I am inadequate, say, I'm having a thought that I am inadequate. This tiny shift in language creates a massive shift in psychic space. The thought stops being an order and becomes a passing event. You are the sky. The thought is just a cloud. If you fuse with the thought, it possesses you. If you observe it, it loses its grip. Try it next time. I am noticing a catastrophic thought passing through my consciousness. This reorganization reaffirms that there is something within you greater than the storm. Once you have distance, you can start the most powerful practice Jung ever developed: active imagination. This is a conscious dialogue with your thoughts. It sounds strange, but it is deeply transformative. Every recurring thought has an intention, even the ones that feel like they're trying to kill you. Because we've been taught to judge them, we never ask what they want. Active imagination brings these autonomous entities into the light. It dissolves their tyrannical power. You need a quiet room and some paper. Sit with a negative thought. Visualize it. Give it a face, a shape, a name. Then start writing. Ask it, why do you keep coming back? Listen for the answer. It might say, because I need you to remember the pain of that old rejection. You will be shocked to find that many negative thoughts have a protective function. They are often trying to keep you safe from perceived risks. A voice telling you you're a failure might be trying to stop you from trying something new, because if you don't try, you can't be humiliated. It's a distorted, primitive form of protection. When you recognize the intention and offer a new way to stay safe, the thought loses its need to scream. You can say, quote 26, this is how you transform an internal enemy into a strategic ally. It returns the exiled parts of yourself to your conscious control. The most challenging part of this journey is learning to, quote 27, our modern culture is binary. We think it's either or, light or shadow, strength or weakness. But Jung realized that maturity is the ability to hold both at once without collapsing. The psyche doesn't want positivity, it wants integration. When you try to kill a negative thought with a positive one, you're just starting another war. Instead, try saying, this is the move from a childish binary to a mature, complex wholeness. It is uncomfortable, but it is where real transformation lives. You don't need to eliminate fear to find courage. You don't need to erase the shadow to live in the light. You just need to be big enough to contain both. This brings us to the final, most liberating stage, radical acceptance. Not a passive, but a courageous acknowledgement that negative thoughts are a natural, legitimate part of being a human being. Having them doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're alive. Jung never promised a life without pain. He promised a life of meaning. Negative thoughts are not obstacles. They are the trail the soul leaves to lead you back to what you've abandoned. Radical acceptance means stopping the self-criticism. Instead of asking, why am I still like this? Say, it makes sense that I feel this way given what I've been through. This acknowledges your real history, not some idealized version of who you should be. Accepting the darkness doesn't mean being swallowed by it. It means being able to walk through it because you finally have enough light inside to see the way. You have learned to observe, to dialogue, and to hold the paradox. Now you can let the thoughts exist without the desperation to escape. They no longer define you. They are just voices in the theater, and you are finally sitting in the director's chair, observing with presence, clarity, and authority. This is the strength of a mature ego, the ability to hold the world's contradictions without falling apart. This is inner freedom. It is built one thought at a time every time you choose to look inward instead of running away. Think about the thought that has dominated you most recently. What is it really trying to tell you? Put it into words. That is your first act of liberation. The journey isn't over, but you've taken the deepest step. True power doesn't come from being, quote, 34. It comes from being whole. Stay with the process. The truth has much more to reveal. The weight you've been carrying for years, the feeling that you're fighting a losing battle against your own mind, is finally starting to lift. And it's not because the thoughts have disappeared, but because their power over you has been broken. You are no longer terrified of your own internal landscape. You have become the explorer of your own soul, rather than its prisoner. This is the difference between a life of repression and a life of integration. One is a constant struggle to maintain a fragile mask. The other is a steady, grounded sense of reality that can withstand any storm. As you move forward from this moment, remember that the goal isn't perfection. Jung was very clear about that. Perfection is a static, dead state. What the soul craves is wholeness, and wholeness is messy. It includes the parts of you that are scared, the parts that are angry, and the parts that feel deeply inadequate. When you stop trying to fix these parts and start trying to understand them, you unlock a level of energy and creativity you didn't know you possessed. All that energy you used to spend on repression is now available for you to actually live your life. This is the quote 38 of the psyche, turning the lead of your darkest thoughts into the gold of self-awareness. It requires courage, and it requires honesty. It requires you to look at the things most people spend their entire lives avoiding. But on the other side of that look is a sense of peace that no quote 39 could ever give you. It's a peace based on the truth of who you are, not the illusion of who you think you should be. So when the darkness comes back tonight, and it will, don't reach for the distraction. Don't reach for the empty affirmation. Sit with it, observe it, ask it what it has brought you. You might find that your quote 40 is actually your most honest teacher. You might find that the very thing you were running from is the key to the door you've been trying to open for years. You are not broken. You are just beginning to become who you truly are. The process of individuation is a lifelong task, a journey toward the center of your own being. It is the most important work you will ever do. Most people will never even start it. They will spend their days in the quote 41 of the conscious mind, wondering why they feel so empty. But you have chosen a different path. You have chosen to descend into the depths, to retrieve the parts of yourself that were lost in the dark. And in doing so, you are becoming a beacon of light, not because you've ignored the shadow, but because you've had the courage to integrate it. Stay present, stay curious, stay with the tension. The answers you are looking for are not out there in some quote 42 video. They are already within you, waiting for you to stop fighting and start listening. The internal war is over, not because one side won, but because you've finally decided to stop being the battlefield and start being the commander. You are ready, you are whole, and you are finally truly beginning to live. The beauty of this Jungianska perspective is that it gives you your power back. It takes you out of the role of the victim of your biology, the victim of your past, the victim of your, quote, 43 thoughts. It places you in the role of the conscious observer. You are the one who decides how to relate to the content of your mind. You are the one who interprets the symbols. You are the one who does the work of integration. This is the ultimate form of self-mastery. It's not about controlling what thoughts enter your head. That is an impossible task. It's about controlling how much authority you give them. In the days and weeks to come, you will find yourself slipping back into old patterns. That's okay. That's part of the process. The ego is a creature of habit. When you find yourself getting fused with a negative thought again, simply stop. Breathe. Remember the chair in the room. Remember the distance. And just like that, you are back in the director's chair. You are back in the place of power. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about being better. It's about becoming a person who can handle the complexity of the world because they have handled the complexity of their own soul. It's about being a person who doesn't need to project their shadows onto others because they have faced them within themselves. This is how we change the world, not by yelling at each other, but by doing the hard, quiet work of internal integration. Every time you face a dark thought with curiosity instead of fear, you are contributing to the collective healing of the human psyche. You are moving the needle toward wholeness. You are becoming part of the solution rather than part of the problem. This is a heavy responsibility, but it is also a magnificent one. It gives your struggle a purpose. It gives your pain a meaning. Your, quote, 45 thoughts are the raw material for your greatest development. Don't waste them. Don't throw them away. Use them to build a version of yourself that is so authentic and so grounded that the world can't help but take notice. So take this knowledge and move out into your world with a new sense of authority. You are no longer afraid of what's inside you. You are the sky, and you are vast enough to contain any storm. You are the observer, and you are quiet enough to hear any message. You are the master of integration, and you are strong enough to hold any paradox. The path is open. The work has begun. And for the first time in a long time, you can finally breathe. As you close this chapter and move into your day, hold on to the feeling of this new internal space. It is yours. No one can take it from you. It is the fortress of your own consciousness. Protect it, cultivate it. Let it be the place you return to whenever the world or your own mind gets too loud. You have the tools now, you have the map, and you have the courage. The rest is just a matter of practice. One thought at a time, one breath at a time, one moment of radical acceptance at a time. You are becoming whole, and there is nothing more powerful in the universe than a human being who has decided to stop fighting themselves and start becoming who they were always meant to be. The quiet strength you are feeling right now is not an illusion. It is the resonance of your own soul finally being heard. It is the sound of the dam being replaced by a flowing river. It is the beginning of a life lived in harmony with the unconscious, rather than in opposition to it. This is the gift of Jung. This is the promise of depth psychology, and it is now your reality. Walk forward with that knowledge. Walk forward in your light, and walk forward in your shadow, because both are necessary and both are you. The war is over. The work continues, and you are more than ready for whatever comes next. Think about the most persistent negative thought you've had this week. Visualize it right now. See it as a person or a symbol. What is its name? What color is it? How does it stand? Now, just for a moment, look at it with compassion. It has been screaming because it was desperate to save you. It has been harsh because it was afraid for you. Tell it, quote 47, quote. Feel the energy of that thought settle down. Feel the tension release. This is integration in action. This is the first step toward a peace that actually lasts. You've got this. The path is yours to walk. The modern world will keep trying to sell you the quick fix. It will keep telling you that you can hack your way to happiness by cutting out the parts of yourself that hurt. But you know better now. You know that cutting out the pain also cuts out the growth. You know that you can't have the mountain without the valley. Stay true to this deeper path. It is harder, yes, it requires more of you, but the reward is a life that is actually yours, a life of depth, of resonance, and of profound, unshakable meaning. In the end, we are all just trying to find our way home to ourselves. And quote 50 is not a place where everything is perfect. Home is the place where all of you is welcome, where your fears can sit at the table with your hopes, where your shadows can dance with your light. You are building that home inside yourself right now. Every time you choose integration over repression, you are adding another brick to the foundation. You are creating a space that is safe enough for your true self to finally emerge. And that self, your most authentic, integrated self, is the greatest gift you can give to the world. So, continue the dialogue. Keep the distance. Hold the tension. And most of all, keep the faith in your own capacity to become whole. You are not a collection of errors to be corrected. You are a mystery to be lived. Jung's work was to give us the tools to live that mystery with dignity and with power. Use them, respect them, and let them guide you toward a life that is as vast and as beautiful as the soul itself. The journey toward individuation is the ultimate adventure. Welcome to it. You are no longer just a person with negative thoughts. You are an initiate in the ancient and modern work of the soul. You have joined the ranks of those who refuse to live on the surface. You have decided to go deep, and because of that decision, your life will never be the same. The darkness hasn't changed, but you have, and that makes all the difference in the world. The quote 52 thought is now just a pointer toward an old wound that needs your love. The quote 53 thought is now just a signal to be more present. The quote 54 is now just the space where something new is about to be born. Everything is material for the work. Everything is a step on the path. You are the director, the observer, and the soul, and you are finally, truly awake. Stay with the work. The shadow is not a monster, it's a treasure map, and you are the one with the map in your hands. Walk on. One last thing. Don't be afraid of the silence that comes after you stop fighting. Many people find that silence terrifying, so they start a new war just to feel the noise. Don't do that. Lean into the silence. That is where the self, your true integrated center, speaks. It doesn't scream like the complexes do. It whispers. It guides. It anchors. In that silence, you will find a strength that is not toughness, but durability. You will find a clarity that is not certainty, but wisdom. This is the goal. This is the end of the escape and the beginning of the presence. You are home. Now, as you transition back into the noise of the world, carry that silence with you. Let it be the filter through which you see every challenge and every thought. You are the sky. You are the room. You are the soul. Everything else is just passing through, and you are finally here, ready, whole, free.